Alrighty, hey there folks. I'm running the Crusader Kings 2 Plus Kitchen Sink mod, which is CK2 Plus is originally by Wiz, and the guy who developed Better Armies, which does a whole lot of other good stuff, incorporated CK2 Plus and updated it once Wiz got hired by Paradox and moved on. Anyways, it also includes this cool little mod here, a Millennium mod, which gives you a new start date in the year 1000. So we have the old gods here, with all the Norse pagans, the great pagan invasion of England, with the Halfdan white shirt and all these other cool Vikings with badass names like Sigurd or Snake in the Eye. The standard CK2 start is, of course, 1066 with Stanford Bridge. Unfortunately, all those Vikings are mostly gone. A Christian rules Sweden. And this modded start is sort of in between there. Sweden is being Christianized. Hungary exists, like it didn't exist here. The Magyars are moving into what would become Hungary in 867. By 1000 they've moved in, but they're still pagans, and Saint Ivan, Istvan, the king of Hungary, is just converted to Catholic and has to convert his whole country. A bunch of other interesting things going on. The Caliphate of Cordoba is pushing back the Christians. The Fatimids have a huge caliphate centered on Egypt. And the Khazars still exists under the Bulanid dynasty. They are Jewish, sort of a steppe people in what we would call the Caucasus, the North Caucasus nowadays. I'm really interested in these guys. They're Jews who happen to live like Mongols along the Volga. Here's where Stalingrad would be nowadays. So I've just been playing them for a little bit. I let the game run for a solid 12 years. So let's dive right in and play as some Khazars and see how the world's going. Not much has changed in my save, obviously. Here's something interesting. Well, I'll just go ahead and load it in and show you. So this is me. I've got Georgius of the Bulanid Khanate. I just had a son. He's just 1 year old, Prince David. So I have an heir that isn't my brother to this little Khanate. As you can see, we only have one province that actually matches our religion, Itil here, which is Jewish. These religions are all Orthodox, and some of them aren't even our culture. They belong to the Alans, which is sort of a Greek spin-off. This province here, Guryev, is Khazar and Jewish, our culture, our religion, but these jerks up here, the Tudikids, stole it from us. So what I'm looking for is the child Queen Khan of the Tudikids. They have a regent right now, but they're still stronger than me. So I'm waiting for some kind of civil war distraction for them. I can launch a revenge attack to take back Guryev. I can't do it right now because we are in a truce, but in a couple of years, so I'll be looking out for that. Other interesting things, what's going on here. The Byzantines and Bulgaria are hanging along pretty well, actually. Normally around this time, this fellow, Basil II, he's known in history as the Bulgar Slayer, would have taken on Bulgaria at this point, but that war ended in a truce for whatever reason. Oh, something else, the Fatimid Sultanate fell apart completely. You can see Egypt is fragmented into all these little independent sheikdoms and beydoms and what have you, a bunch of little fragmented Islamic states. So Byzantium's doing well. On the other hand, the Seljuk Turks have arrived. They're sort of like Mongols or Timurid peoples, and they are pushing in hard, led by Seljuk himself. I'm hoping that that will, you know, put some pressure on these guys and these Muslims down here. And if I'm very lucky, the Seljuks will do what they did historically, expand up here and put pressure on the Byzantines and the Georgians. The Georgians are an especially big threat to me because they're Christian and Orthodox, which means they can declare holy wars on me like pretty much everyone else, but they can call in the Byzantines if I try to declare a holy war on them, and I can't stand against the Byzantine Empire. They are probably the strongest state in the world right now, maybe discounting the Holy Roman Empire, but even then, their authority is so weak. And, well, with all that, I'll go ahead and unpause. So right now, I'm just sort of sitting back and letting cash roll in. I want to upgrade my domain, my holdings, so I can raise more troops and fare better in my rematch with the Tuda here. It's looking good, honestly, because I fended them off, got a truce with them. I'm on pretty good terms here with the Pechenegs. Khan Kuchug, he's a Pecheneg here, although they are getting uncomfortably strong. I have de jure claims on this province here, because I own this duchy, the Duchy of Azov, and this province, Tmura Khan, okay, I'm fucking that up, but whatever that is, I have a claim on it. And as soon as Kiev gets bogged down in a civil war or something, I'm gonna snatch it up. The Kiev's actually doing surprisingly well. It's around this time in history that the Kievan Rus, that state, started to fragment. So you'd have Novgorod independent up here and all these other independent states, and eventually Kiev was just reduced to basically the city of Kiev, leaving Russia totally weak for when the Mongols come around in around the 1200s. There's no real organized resistance. But Kiev seems to be bringing things back together. They got Novgorod back, which is a big deal. And this guy, their Veliki Knyaz, which is Grand Prince, their king level title, he's doing pretty good. He's also a kin-slaying, cruel, maimed, stressed, paranoid asshole, so I really don't want to wake up next to him. I'd be happy with him to take the brunt of the Mongols or, you know, Ryazan or what have you, just so long as he stays away from me. A powerful Russia is a scary, scary thing if you're a steppe nomad people like I am. I could create a titular kingdom, which I don't want to do, and I could create the Kingdom of Alania, which I don't want to do. I already have a king level title. It's just a Khanate, which makes it a little harder. Oh, I can do laws. Okay, I'm going to bump my crown authority up from minimum to none. Minimum where I have right now is vassals are a law unto themselves, ruling their fiefs like petty kingdoms. Obviously, I don't want that because I'm the king, or the Khan, or what have you. This will bring up all the levies by 5%, and that means the number of troops that they'll raise to support me. I only have one kid, so I'm fine with Gavelkind right now. Gavelkind, what this means, agnatic cognatic, means that both men and women are eligible for the succession, but men have preference. The oldest also has the preference, so the oldest male child. The second, Gavelkind means that the titles are split. They don't all go to the oldest child. So if I had, like, If I was just a count and I happened to hold 2 counties and I had 2 counts, 2 sons, each son would get a county. They'd be independent, and they'd probably hate each other's guts. Go ahead and approve limited crown authority. And I can also do primogeniture now. I think I'll leave Gavelkind as is right now and go to absolute cognatic, which gives women equality to men. And this doesn't give you that much benefit, and it's actually there are some downsides to it. Men don't like it, for instance, but I'm a bleeding heart liberal socialist, and I want to create a Jewish paradise in the steppe. Equality for everybody. So looking at my vassals, for instance, this is my half-brother. He's the Duke of Azov over there, and he swears fealty to me. And I just got a minus 50 penalty from that succession law change. Outraged by succession law change. Luckily, he's my brother, well, sibling-ish, so he can't hate me that much. I'm pretty popular generally. I'm temperate, charitable, honest, a little envious, and a bad schemer. But all of those are positive traits, and they mean that my vassals almost uniformly like me. This jerk, what's his deal? He desires the Mehaz of Alania. Now, Mehaz is just the Khazar word for duchy or dukedom. Oh dear. I am ill. Something is wrong with me. I'm burning up with fever, my nose is running, blah blah blah. Please kill me. Alright, this means that I get the ill trait, which lowers my martial, my fertility, and my health. And I have basically a small random chance of dying at any point until this trait goes away. So it's a dangerous time for me. Inadequate soil preparation. This is just a semi-random event that screws you over a little bit. In my capital province, I lose minus 20% tax, which kind of sucks. But only for a short period of time. Let's speed up time a little bit and zoom out. The Kingdom of Burgundy is independent from this start, which is interesting. One thing I didn't talk about that happened in the first 10 years of this game was that there's a Swedish guy. Let's see if I can find him here. King Sven Forkbeard, who managed to unite Norway, Denmark, and went on kind of a crusade, if you will, against England, and managed to take the kingship from Ethelred the Unready. And it lasted for, I guess, like 2 weeks before pretty much every part of England rebelled and shattered the realm. They rebelled for independence. So what was a united Kingdom of England here, now it's a slice of Norway, an independent Wessex, an independent petty kingdom of Mercia, petty king of York. They're all fighting among each other now. England has turned into just a huge mess, and it's fun to watch. All because some badass Viking decided to ride on over. The Scots are just sitting up there pretty. They never seem to expand, but they definitely do better when England is fractured into tiny bits. Oh god. The new Grand Prince of Kiev inherited Kiev and a whole bunch of other stuff, it seems. I think that was Bryansk or Polotsk there. But yeah, there's a new Grand Prince, a dishonorable, craven, elusive shadow, lustful and arbitrary. He's got an 18 skill of intrigue. That is terrifying. Yeah, Kiev, whether through inheritance or war, is very rapidly uniting the Russian peoples. That could be a big danger to me. As you can see, it's just me. I'm the only Jew in the entire world. Tengri just represents, well, the only majority Jewish province. Tengri just represents sort of the steppe religions that worship, sun gods, the weather, that kind of thing. Shamanistic, you could call them, or animist. The Zoroastrians still exist over here, funnily enough. They're kind of swallowed under Islam, and it's very likely that that religion will be extinguished at some point, but it's interesting that they still exist, even as late as 1000. Cool. I have one of my council members here, my steward, collecting taxes in my capital, and he just brought me an extra 19 gold. And I think that gets me pretty close to the amount that I need to build a building. Let me check on this real quick. The Tutu kids and the Congress are fighting. Ooh. This is my moment. I need to get this province back from the Tutu kids, Guriev. It was stolen from me earlier. And I think our truce has expired. Yes. The Tutu kids are ruled by an incapable 11-year-old girl due to advanced age, head injury, or other mental disabilities. So, she must have fallen down the stairs and into a coma or something. She's also under house arrest. Oh boy, she got lots of problems. Poor girl. Well, I'm going to go attack this 11-year-old girl and take back what belongs to me, the province of Guriev, while they are distracted fighting the Pechenegs here. Look at their huge armies, 8,000 strong. We're going to war. Now I can hold this money that I was talking about in reserve and hire mercenaries if I absolutely need them, but I think, with any luck, with them having been bloodied and distracted by the war with the Kangaris gang here, what I'm gonna keep calling the Pechenegs, hopefully I'll be able to sneak in, siege this province, and do just fine. If they do come walking at me with that stack of 2,000, I may be in trouble, but it looks like the Pechenegs are going after them with their stack of 6,000. This is a perfect time for me. So my guys are arriving. You can see my priest, well, rabbi over there. He's busy converting Sarai from Tigrius to Judaism. These are just little siege events. They don't really affect the siege that much. They either slow it down or speed it up, more or less randomly. I'm just going to click through them because they're not very interesting. You know, failed sallies, enemy troops get minus 10% morale. In the end, it doesn't matter too much. I'm just sending every man I have into this province so that the siege will advance as quickly as possible before the Tutu kids have time to respond. Alright, that's the first holding taken. I can see enemy troops moving up. The AI is probably going to concentrate a new army up here and then try and move down and take me if they can. But, lucky me at the backstabber, the Pechenegs have a doom stack of nearly 10,000 cruising into Tutu kid territory. I think I'm in a pretty good place right now. My truce with the Prince of Kiev is expiring. While they had a rebellion before I started streaming, I tried to take this province that I have a de jure claim on, and got walloped by a 4,000-man Kievan stack, even in the middle of rebellion. Oh, well, I said all that. I took Guryev, but that's not enough to get them to admit defeat. I'm just going to keep on cruising through, engage any armies if I see them, siege territory to force the poor 11-year-old girl in a coma to admit defeat. Alright, it appears that they settled their war there. The Pechenegs are no longer at war with the Tudukids, and here comes 1,500 men. Yeah, I have my diplomat over there talking to the Pecheneg Khan, trying to make him like me more so that he doesn't stab me in the back over our territory here, but seems like it's backfired. His opinion of me changes by -20 for 5 years. Alright, I'm going to pause this for a second. Build an army stack here to take on the army that they have coming in. 2,600 versus 1,500. That should be fairly safe, and I have 1,400 men here remaining to continue the siege in October. Gotta pick a good leader, sort by marshal. I don't have very many good guys here, unfortunately. I'm gonna try and cut them off from their reinforcements arriving from the east. Or at least kill them before, yeah. These poor 380 are gonna get crushed now. Ooh, okay. 2,600, 2,500 versus 2,000. Let's pause and look at this fight. I intercepted them on the move. These are my men. This is what they're doing. Skirmish phase, skirmish phase, skirmish phase. Volley tactics, harassment tactics. I outnumber him, especially in terms of heavy infantry, archers, in every individual group. Our armies are pretty similar because we're both steppe peoples. But with any luck, with my numbers advantage, and the fact that this is a flat plain, we'll be able to do some serious damage to their army stack right now. Taking territory is one thing, but what really wins wars is defeating the enemy's army. So then you can, well, siege all the territory you like. This guy will come in and flank them with any luck. See what I've done there? They're retreating into October, where my men are waiting. I'll have these guys proceed into Oral. Yeah. A demoralized minor army moving into my larger, well-prepared army. We're doing good. I captured a chief. I think I'm going to ransom this guy. 70 gold. Yes, please. So this war is going very well. I just got a peace offer. We surrender under these terms. I gain the chiefdom of Guryev. I gain 100 prestige. She loses 100 prestige. That's what I want. And the Jews of the steppe are reunited. Guryev is once again mine. Now I send my troops back home, disband them, send the boys home back to the farm. And I didn't have to use that money for mercenaries, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade. Let's see what I can do here. I'm going to build a small trading post here in Itil, which is my capital. And when I save up a little bit more money, I'm going to build a town market in Zakatarksen. All of these are the little holdings. Itil is the capital of the province, or the county, I suppose. So it grants its name to the whole thing. This game is Crusader Kings 2, running the Millennium mod and CK2 Plus with better armies. And it's a very, very good game. I've sunk hundreds of hours into it. It's basically about perpetuating your dynasty. Europa Universalis 4, which is coming out next month in just a couple weeks, is more about nation building, colonization, building alliances, that kind of thing. But Crusader Kings 2 is more about perpetuating your dynasty, building your family, staying alive in a crazy world where just because you're at the top of the heap doesn't mean you can't be assassinated by everyone who loves you. I've managed to complete my mission to convert Saray. We are slowly, and that was my ambition, which means I get a little bonus. We are slowly, ever slowly but surely, making that golden Jewish blob on the map get a little bigger. I'll focus on Kuma next. Open up the council, go to my court chaplain, or rabbi, click on proselytize, go to Kuma. There he is. Now, since I satisfied that ambition that you saw to convert a province, I need to choose a new ambition, or I get the -1 prestige monthly for having the lack of ambition trait. So I can amass wealth. If I get 750 gold, I gain 1 stewardship, become Paragon of Virtue, which is about having a ridiculous amount of piety, which gets you a title, the Holy, a bunch of religious benefits, blah blah blah, fall in love, have a daughter, increase the size of my domain, win a war. Let's go with convert another. No, I'll adopt a lifestyle, an exciting hobby to pursue, and you can end up being like a falconer or a hunter, that kind of thing. It's semi-random. Let me check stream chat real quick. Yeah, playing as the Jews. Good luck in medieval Europe to me. Thankfully, I'm pretty insulated from the Catholics, as you can see. Although nobody who is my religion surrounds me, I'm the only Jews in the world, so anybody can declare a holy war on me. Conversely, I can declare a holy war on anybody, so it's a double-edged sword, but it is kind of hard mode. And if I manage to survive another 200 years, well, here comes Genghis Khan and his Mongols to smash up everything that I've created. So it's really a race against time to create an empire, a state, a nation strong enough to resist the Mongols. So, what do we do now? We've had our revenge on the Tuda kids, who are almost surely doomed. I don't know how. Okay, the poor older sister died.
Searching for travel deals is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Go to kayak.com. 2.
So, I don't really have any threat from them right now, unless a particularly vengeful regent attacks me as soon as the truce period that we have is over. Right now, look at this. Kiev is having a revolt. Kiev is at war. Remember, it used to stretch all the way through here. But all of these dukes and princes are attacking the Grand Prince of Kiev, which means they are in a very vulnerable position right now. So, I'm going to take a risk and press my de jure claim. Raise my troops and go for it. I'll assemble them right outside in Azov. Lots of opportunities for expansion here when the Russians keep fracturing and the big steppe groups fight each other. Oh god. Alright, so what just happened is the guys who I attacked, the Prince of Kiev, called in some allies, including King Boleslaw the Brave of Poland. Poland, by the way, has been formed just during the time that I've been playing. This guy is a monster, skilled tactician, poet, gregarious. So suddenly this has become a lot harder than just snapping something up in the middle of a rebellion. Let's see here, who am I at war with altogether? That's me versus the Prince of Kiev, the King of Poland, and the Prince of Galicia and Ungvar, which is this entity here. If I move quickly enough, hopefully I'll be able to assemble my forces, hold them in one place, and they'll attack me over the Sea of Azov and get crushed by my defenses, but we'll just have to see how it goes. My vassals are mad at me because I keep bouncing from war to war and not letting the troops settle down, but... Oh man, I look ragged now. Yeah, I turned old. 50. Pretty old for, you know, the year 1000. Alright, we got enough dudes. Let's smash this little army. See if we can catch it. Yeah, we can catch it. And we'll settle down to siege and defend from anyone who tries to mess with us. If the Polish armies march all the way across the Ukraine to get to us, I will be peeved, I'll say that much. I would have to surrender. Oh, this is a fun event. My son, Prince David, the heir to Khazaria, asks, "Where do children come from?" Daddy will tell you when you get older, one of three options will happen. 50% chance he gains the trait cynical, or smaller chances for diligent or deceitful. You know there are bees and flowers. 50% chance trusting, but also chance for deceitful and craven. Or be silent or I'll slap you. These are all negative traits. So like diligent, for instance, is almost universally good. It's a great trait. Whereas slothful is the opposite of diligent. It's all negatives. Wroth, it's a hot temper, gives you a martial bonus though, so you can take a risk. Even the bad one like craven here, it'll drop you -2 martial, but it'll compensate with +2 intrigue. So weighing my options here, I actually like all of these. Cynical is +3 intrigue, deceitful is +2, and diligent is just a great trait all around, and I have a good chance of it. So let's tell little Prince David when he's older. He gained the cynical trait. My cynical 4-year-old. Alrighty. Pretty soon he'll be old enough that I can start educating him. Alright. Merge my armies. The siege is going on. And hopefully we can take this place before I get smothered in Poles and Russians and Galicians and all sorts of...
I had a savings of like $200
Whoops,
for half the summer.
We saved a little bit over.
There we go. Let's take a look at the rest of the world. While all this has been happening, the Pechenegs appear to have fractured. Yeah, they're going through a civil war at the same time that Kiev is. No wonder this whole Eastern Europe looks like a mess. Poland has inherited Bohemia, also today known as the Czech Republic. which makes them very strong indeed. Boleslaw the Brave, or Boleslav probably. Oh, crap. This is what I get for looking away unpaused. Everything's going to crap. I got a bunch of guys from Turov and Galish coming in, Russians from Ryazan, more from Ryazan. The Poles haven't even arrived yet, but I'm in serious trouble, as you can see. This is going to be a losing fight, but at least I'll inflict some casualties. And here come 10,000 Poles! Alright. Well, I frankly can't stand against those numbers. My maximum raised troops is something like 4,100, and I just lost 3,000 in a single battle. It's gonna be real hard to take that province. It was my second try, but let's see if they'll accept a white peace. Nope. Reason. I've already won. Give up now and I'll spare your life. Well, I'm gonna have to surrender and pay some money, unfortunately. Lose some prestige. Because otherwise they'll just tromp through my army, through my country, and force a surrender. I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. I thought I could sneak that in, but boy, the Christians reacted fast. I'll unpause. Oh, hey. I'm 50 years old, charitable, humble, temperate. Sure. I'll be a good boy and be chaste. I already have a son anyways. And I've lost my war, but at least I didn't lose anything. I was just thrown back. And I've gone into debt. Lack of funds has happened to us. Monthly balance is plus 2.48, so I should go out of debt in maybe a year. Well, oh well. I got a truce with all those people now, so at least I know they can't stab me in the back for a little while. Now we can pause and examine the world a little bit. The Danes and Norwegians have parted ways, and the Danes have inherited Norway's chunk of England. England, still a mess, as you can see. Scotland is unifying. Ireland, still a mess for sure. The Caliphate of Cordoba appears to have fractured as well. A lot of realms are fracturing this game, although especially the Muslims, as you can see. The Fatimids have partially recovered, but they used to stretch all the way through Egypt, up through the Middle East, and into Libya. And the Caliphate of Cordoba unified all of these Muslim states. They must be undergoing some kind of civil strife. But the Catholic and the Christian empires, the Holy Roman Empire and Byzantium, have held strong. Basil II still alive, keeping that thing together. The Seljuks, let's see if Seljuk is still alive. Yes, Seljuk the Devil. Proud, zealous, cruel, wroth, and a brilliant strategist. Looks like they are currently... They have truces, but I'm sure they'll keep expanding. At least until Seljuk himself dies and the empire settles down. I have a righteous imprisonment possibility with this fella here. What has he done? He's a devious schemer. I can't really tell what he's done. I know there's a way to tell what people have done in these games, but it's hard to find sometimes, so... You know what? I'll forgive you. I'm a forgiving man. Plus it makes the annoying pop-up go away. My court is not pleased with me. I am broke, which is a big thing. And many of my vassals are not Khazars. So I've absorbed the Alans down here and some more Alans up here. It's getting a little rough. So I think I'm gonna, once I get out of the negatives in terms of cash, I'll throw a feast, maybe even hold a grand tournament once I save up enough money. Those are little intrigue options that you can do to increase people's opinion of you, your vassals' opinion of you. Very useful if you're struggling. You can see with the terrain map the sort of land that I'm ruling, flat, steppe, sort of dependent upon the Volga. These are my diplomatic relations. Green, the more green, the better. The gray countries either have no opinion of me or a negative opinion of me. This is the culture map, incidentally, which I haven't shown you yet. The Russians are there. The Khazar people actually extend pretty far this way. I don't own any of those provinces yet, although they're targets for the future. And of course, I've fallen ill again. Honestly, I already look pretty ill. That is a haggard face. I might survive this, I might not. This is the economy map. Red, poor areas. You'll see Constantinople is the greatest city in the world at this time, so it's one of the few places that are bright green, along with, I think that's Cordoba over there, Genoa over here, Genua. I just finished my small trading post building and got out of debt. Lack of funds no longer affecting us, which improves everyone's opinion of me pretty immensely. And I believe little Prince David old enough to be educated. I will take care of this myself. I don't want any. You can hire someone, or rather, retain someone to educate your child. But that can be a little dangerous. All right. Well, that didn't take long. I have died after a period of illness. It's always a risk. And my little 6-year-old son is now the Khan of the Khazar Khanate. My uncle, the dead King Khan's brother, has been appointed as my regent. He's actually pretty decent. He's got high martial, high stewardship, decent diplomacy. But as a result of my weakness, people tend to move in on a weak leader. That's true throughout history generally, and the Khans are no different. This guy, my steward, has a negative opinion of me because of my short reign, and because his liege is a child, and he desires something I have, the Mahaz of Alania, which is the Duchy of Alania. Or the dukedom, rather, I think. So these guys are going to move in on me because they perceive weakness because, well, I'm 6 years old. So what do I need to do? I need to make sure I'm educated. Who's best to educate me? I like this guy, my chancellor. He has a high diplomacy skill, and diplomacy is very important in these games. And he's not bad in all the others. He's Jewish, gregarious, honest, patient, and a gray eminence, which is the highest diplomatic trait. So I'm going to go with him as my tutor and guardian. And because I've chosen him, I will inherit some of his traits and abilities. So I expect to be a fairly talented diplomatic child when I grow up. So I'm basically on the edge of my seat right now because I got a feeling that one of these guys is going to rebel against me. The princely faction hates me, and they can raise, 1,000 men. The Republicans another 1,000. It's a dangerous place being a child Khan. On the other hand, all diplomacy in this game is personal. It's not between nations, it's between people. So all the truces and relationships I had with, you know, Kiev and the Tudikids and Georgia, for instance, the Pechenegs of Kongaris. They are invalidated. It's a clean slate. Which is, of course, good and bad. I could attack the Tudikids right now if I wanted to, but because I'm so young and weak, I can only raise a maximum of 2,900-ish, well, more like 3,000 men right now, whereas as a respected old Khan just a couple of years ago, I could raise more like 4,000. So personal relationships, respect, all of that matters a lot because you depend on your vassals, and if your vassals have a low opinion of you, or they're just reserved, they will hold back their strength. So yeah, I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now. So I'll speed up the game a little bit. Zooming in here. Poor Grand Prince of Kiev is defending against a peasant revolt and a revolt of his princes, counts, dukes. I can't tell if they're, it's entirely possible that the realm won't be able to be remade after this. Novgorod, for instance. They've always wanted to be independent. Oh boy. Another thing that happens when you have a weak ruler, like a child, is that other, larger nations will take advantage of you. The Tudikids, the Kumans, are coming after me again. What do they want? Haha! They want Guryev back. Well, alright. Let's pause, raise our troops. Pulled together 3,800, which isn't bad, actually. I don't think the Tudikids can raise that much more. Let's have a look at their realm tree, see what's up. Alright. Yeah, they can raise 3,800. Which means that we're actually about even. I can raise 3,800. So, my plan is to lure them into a battle where I'm on the defense. We are even numbers. The defense should mean that I win. I was concerned that I'd have to fight this, but this is just the peasant revolt that the Pechenegs are fighting. Now that I'm at war, people are unifying behind me. Nothing like a foreign war to unify a polity. You can see the Tudikids marching up to put their army together up there. If I was faster, I could, or I had more troops here, I could intercept these guys before they formed up into one big army, that kind of business, but it's a little risky, because you can always end up accidentally running into, you know, a solid 1,000-man wall or what have you. Yeah. If I can get them to advance across the Volga, I should be okay. But I held them once before here in Guryev. Let's read this. The cook accused me of stealing cookies. The spymaster insisted I had stolen his quill, and I was accused of making a lot of mischief. For once I was innocent. I found the perpetrator playing with the quill and stuffing his face with cookies. I like both of these options. Rivals? Mischievous planning makes them friends. Let's look at Karadak. He is the son of my guardian and the chancellor of my kingdom. Seems like a good friend. Shy child. Let's be bros. Pulling the army together here. What are these guys doing? Ah, this is perfect. These guys, the Mamunids, are attacking the Tudikids. which means that they have a two-front war now. Yeah, they're doing a holy war for this province, Aktobe. So that's actually my saving grace. I didn't plan on that at all, but the numbers war, which was even between us, has now shifted to my side. And of course, this event here. Turns out I'm craven and a coward, but at least that gets me +2 intrigue. Forces still pulling together. Maybe the Tutukids and the Mamanids will bloody themselves and I can force the Tutukids back once again. If they keep attacking me for Guryev like clockwork every 5 years, it's gonna get a little tiresome and I might have to do some conquering myself. I'm really intimidated by Georgia. It's a strong Christian kingdom, and now they have like no one to border to fight but me, the other Orthodox peoples, and these Muslims here. And if they take the Muslims, then, well, I'm in trouble. So the Tutukid response to being declared war on by the Mamanids appears to have been to retreat into the interior. So I'm going to pursue. Let's pick good leaders for our army. All these guys are so bad. 7, 9, 9. Oh well. Let's advance towards Tumen. See if we can find some Tutukids to crush. If we can't find anything to crush, we'll siege provinces until they let us go and we can get a peace settlement from them. Oh, here's something I don't show often. This mod adds a pretty rich sub-Saharan Africa religion, culture, peoples. They haven't added the faces, so they all look like, you know, Arabs, but it's pretty cool to have this almost completely separate world of gameplay here. You can establish an empire, kingdom, what have you, and be almost entirely separated from the rest of Europe and Africa. Oh, I was wrong. There are more Jews on the map. Way down here in Ethiopia, Gondar, Antalo, Matama, Asosa. I actually didn't know about that historically. Gonna have to go to Wikipedia after this. Anyways, back to our war. The map hasn't changed that much. Hunting for the enemy. Could really use some spy satellites for this one. Aha! Alright. The Tutukids and the Mamanids are fighting. The Tutukids have the advantage because of the defense, but I'm about to pile in. It looks like the Mamanids will be defeated before I get there, but it'll be 3,800 versus 2,500. I think I can wear that. Yeah, okay. I am the luckiest son of a bitch, I swear. Normally I've had to save... excuse me. I'd have had to save scum at least once by now. Alright. Yeah, this is looking great. Moving in, melee, crushing them. They only have one flank left. Got them. I lost 420, they lost 1,000. And I captured... just some guy, but what a hat. I mean, I'm taking that. Alright, pause. I'm gonna pursue. They're retreating to Mancia. Get there, smash them up again before they can reorganize. That one battle got me 16% war score. If I can just keep smashing their army, maybe capture a province to finish them off, I'll walk away from this with benefits. Ooh, the rabbi that I sent off to spread Judaism here in Kuma has been attacked and is severely wounded now. Ooh. Yeah, it's not a good job. Lost 10 prestige for that one. There's also an event for marshals. If you send them to train troops, They'll occasionally... Oh, made a mistake there. I attacked across a river, which was mentioned in the stream chat just a few minutes ago. Gives you a lot of malices for the person who attacks across a river, particularly for cavalry and pikemen, as you can see, heavy infantry too, and bonuses to the defender, including plus 20% for archers, which is pretty ridiculous. But I outnumber them 2 to 1, and they're pretty badly disorganized, low morale, so I should be able to take them anyway. Still, not something you want to do, especially when it's even numbers. Pursue them, just keep hunting them down, crush the army, don't let them reform. Alright, this is interesting. My spy master, I sent him to uncover plots here in my capital, since that's usually where plots happen, here in Itil. And he has discovered that my rabbi, the one I mentioned just earlier, who had been wounded trying to spread the faith, seeking to embezzle from me. What do we do to embezzlers? Well, let's see, what can we do? First, we throw him into prison. I got a 66% chances of success. Yeah, he's not a fan of me because I'm cynical and craven, and I have a short reign, and yada yada yada. So, let's throw him in jail. I need a new chaplain, obviously. Mastermind theologian seems like a good choice. And once he comes back from leading troops, he's accompanying the army. I'll send him to take up the old guy's job. This is the prisoner screen. We can see Khazar, that random dude with the hat that we captured from the Tuda kids in that one battle. And we can see Yabgu, our rabbi. Now, Khazar... I can't get anything for him. He's just some guy, so nobody's willing to pay the ransom. I'll just go ahead and release him. Now, Yabgu, he hates me. I can get him to pay his vassal. He can afford it. And he doesn't have any titles. If he had, like, a county or something to his name, if he was a member of the nobility, I might consider executing him. So you don't get that many opportunities, and it'll scare them into line a little bit. So, send him an offer. He'll pay the 25 gold to get out of the dungeon, and I won't have to deal with him anymore, hopefully. Back to war, pursuing the enemy on the western side of the Urals. Got my ransom. Not much left of the enemy army now. Boom. Alright. Let's head over here and start sieging Tumen. That's their capital, I believe. Yeah, it is. That should give us a lot of war score. Got a random event here. I'm proud, which gives me prestige but takes away piety on a monthly basis. I am head and shoulders above the other children. It is the truth. But there was a chance I would get the humble trait? Or maybe that was an influence. That was the influence of my guardian. Yes. Picked a good guardian. He gave me humble, which is the opposite. Less prestige, more piety. Which could be useful since I'm going to be running a lot of holy wars. Because it's so easy for me as the only Jewish state to run a holy war. Smacking up one of their newly formed raised levy armies here. This war is going pretty well. As you can see over here, the Mamunids have taken this province. One of these events, you have petitioners, basically, who will come in and say that they have a better score, they can be a better rabbi than whatever rabbi you have, or a better marshal or better chancellor. You can choose to give them time, you can get real mad, You can switch them out. You can tell them that you're sick of these events. Me, none of these guys are really that important to me. I have no investment in the rabbi that I just picked after throwing the other one in jail, so I'll stick with this guy. This guy isn't in the war either, so I can send him straight over here and start doing his job. Meanwhile, let's sow some dissent. Oh, I can't, because no one else is my religion. Yeah. Sent my chancellor over to improve diplomatic relations with the Pechenegs again. I still feel pretty threatened by those guys. Meanwhile, my siege is going well in Tumen. They don't have enough guys to form a real army. Barely 700. I'll split some guys off here to take them out, though. I don't like them laying around. Yeah, they're trying to siege in Guria, but they don't have enough men. I can continue the siege here with that 1,000 and bring 1,500 down to take these guys out. Gives them some leaders, which are so bad. Why is everyone bad at fighting here? The Seljuks look to be expanding. They got the southern part of Iraq. Burgundy. What happened to Burgundy? Ah, this is one of those events I was telling you about. I was trying to teach the thick-headed peasants of Itil how to use siege weapons when one of them dropped a boulder on my foot. I despair of ever teaching these idiots how to wage war. He's wounded too. Oh well. Suck it up. Yeah, the King of Burgundy has sworn allegiance to the Holy Roman Emperor. Oh, so the kingdom still exists, but it is now subsumed into the empire. In the same way that King Heinrich of Bavaria is sworn allegiance to Kaiser Otto of the HRE. Muslims still fractured across the board. This would be a pretty good time for a crusade, hint hint, Mr. Pope. Well, let's chase these guys down. Where's he going? Saray? Alright, there we go. Finish my siege there, heading back towards home, sieging as I go. This is going to be a good war for me. It should net me, an extra 100 gold, and maybe some prestige as well. Nothing like winning a defensive war to knock some prestige into you. Kill this little stack, then I'll send these 1,400 to start sieging over here in the lower Volga. Kiev is starting to pull itself back together. Somehow the revolt is still going on. Whoa. That guy just died? No, he just changed clothes. He was in war clothes. Alrighty. We're at 90% war score. Things are looking good. I expect the little girl to start offering me peace offers shortly. Sieging, and saving up money. Meanwhile, back in Itil, I'm having childhood antics. I punched some kid in the face. Pretty easy to get away with that sort of thing when you're the Khan of the Empire. I have gained the trait Wrath, which improves my martial, but lowers my intrigue and diplomacy and my piety. Paired with Humble, though, that kind of, it's not that bad, honestly. Ah, here we go. I lost the trait. Again, I have a good guardian. He's blocking off the negative traits and working on the positive ones. The Seljuks, this massive empire just declared war on the Mamunids. So I expect to have a border with the Mamunids soon. They can't resist the Seljuks, especially after exhausting themselves fighting the Tutukids up here. Regional politics, everybody. Alright. That's 100%. That's a wrap on this war. Smashed them to pieces. They are totally beaten. I got a nice haul of gold and some prestige. Bring the troops home and disband. Oh, what's happened here? Ah. Because of my low crown authority, my vassals can have internal wars between each other. Now that this external war is complete, they're going straight at it. This Shilton, who controls Sarpa and Manich, excuse me, has declared war on this guy, my uncle, for control of Tana. So he wants to control 3 counties. This guy is an Aleph, which is the equivalent of a duke, and he's the regent of the Kondom. He's running the place while I am educated. I'm still only 9. So I suspect that this gang is going to be annihilated. He's already raised 1,700 troops. From what I see, they only have a little less than 1,600. It could be close, you know. This guy could win, but I very much doubt it. Anyways, those things are not good for the health of the kingdom, those internal wars, so with any luck I'll be able to bring Crown Authority up high enough to put an end to them at some point. It's very hard to do in CK2+, which this mod is based on, but worth doing. High Crown Authority makes all the difference for the stability of your kingdom, but your vassals hate it. They'll revolt over it occasionally. Still, more power to the people on top is pretty great when you're the person on top. I'm too young to host a feast yet, but once I turn 16, enter my majority, I'm definitely going to look into it. One thing I am going to do is do some investment in research here. Now the tech system was totally revamped for the Old Gods DLC. It used to be you just sort of picked what you wanted to research and it would trickle in forever, and it was kind of chance based. It was really unsatisfying, basically. Now you can see the amount it grows, and then you sort of each chunk costs 100 usually. So once I have 123 points here. It would cost 200 to bring Noble Customs up because I've already upgraded it once, but Popular Customs, which gives me a greater opinion from vassals, I could do that. I could do Majesty, which helps me gain Piety and Prestige, Tolerance, which reduces the opinion penalty for different cultures and religion, and Legalism, which increases my domain size, which is basically how much territory I can hold. But I'm going to bump up the Popular Customs. I like people to like me. And I'll bump up, let's see here, what else? Church infrastructure. And you know what? Shipbuilding, not so useful for where I am. I only have 1 province that can raise ships, which is a shame. I wish I could raise ships all along the Volga, but anyhow. Doing pretty good on the technology front. I'll leave the military advances as they are for a while. I want to save up and improve my cavalry or military organization again. To answer your question, Chipmeister, that was a defensive war, and I couldn't turn it around and take land from them. We have a truce now, but if I have my way, once that truce is over, I'm going to try and take this land here. This is all the duchy the chiefdom of Saray, and I think I deserve that. So I'll get my revenge on the Tudikids. Don't you worry. The Mamunids are getting racked with a peasant revolt here, although they're still piling onto the Tudikids themselves. But really, right now, I'm in a pretty good place to absorb and settle down for a while. I have a lot of money, decent amount of prestige, gaining piety, but still only about a third of my country is actually my religion, and culturally only about half. So I'd like to spend some time converting, for instance, these provinces to Judaism, and then I can think about reuniting the Khazar people, which are spread out further than my own territory, as you can see here. But right now, I have a decent amount of gold saved up, so let's spend some money. How about... I don't really want to do any of those. I'm really interested in cavalry because of the steppe. Let's upgrade the town. That's what we want. A castle town or something like that. Yeah. What's cheaper? Upgrading this? Yeah, let's upgrade that. The City Guild Hall. More income. Once I have, 4 or 5 gold a month. Right now I'm at plus 3.83. Once I have 4 or 5, I'll start investing into military building so I can, have a disproportionately large army for the size of the territory I have. You can see my vassals are duking it out. Looks like they had a battle and reduced each other's army sizes considerably, but my uncle and regent still has the advantage by about 150 men. Some of the Jews of Ethiopia that I mentioned earlier are leaving Ethiopia and arriving at Itil. This low-born, courtier Ethiopian Jew just arrived, along with her husband. What else is happening in the world? The Byzantines are still holding on to Sicily, which is pretty impressive, all things considered. They must have taken it from the Muslims who were holding it until just a little while ago. Castile has reformed into Leon and Galicia, and this sultan over here is starting to reunite the Muslims in the eastern part of Spain. Really very confused in Spain right now. England looking pretty much the same, although Mercia here is starting to fall apart. Let's see, has the Swedish king converted? Yes, Swedish king has converted to Catholicism, and he's slowly starting to convert the country, although as you can see most of it is Norse still. Still with Thor and Loki and all of them. How the hell did that happen? There's one of the Hungarians converted to Sunni Islam? Okay, well there's a chunk of Hungary that's Islamic. Oh well. The Catholic King of Hungary has had very little success in converting his people, but what can you do? Poland still looking terrifyingly strong. That 10,000 man stack is haunting my nightmares right now. My Chancellor is still doing well. Let's see if we can do some more interesting stuff with our council. He's over there improving diplomatic relations with the new Khan, but That minus 20 penalty for being an infidel and minus 30 for being craven, it's not good. It's hard to beat that. Another thing I can do is fabricate claims and sow dissent. I think I'm going to fabricate claims, because although I can declare a holy war on any of my neighbors, in a holy war, the people of the defending religion can easily call in allies. You don't even need to be allied beforehand. You'll just pile on in. It's like, you know, Muslims banding together to defend themselves against a crusade. You forget about your earlier political problems. So, but if I fabricate a claim, I'll have a different case for war, a different casus belli, that isn't a holy war, and thus doesn't have that problem. So what would I like to take? Well, I could go for revenge against the Tudikids, but I think I'm more comfortable with a holy war against them for that chunk there. I don't want to piss off the Pechenegs yet, the Kangaras. They're a little dangerous still. Kiev, I have a de jure claim there. I can't, there's no need to fight them to fabricate a claim there. A de jure claim is also not a holy war style claim. And Georgia, this is what I'm thinking. They are my entire southern border. They're Orthodox Christian. They're a big threat. But if I declare a holy war on them, they can also bring in Armenia, and more importantly, Byzantium, which can raise some ungodly number of troops. Let's find out. Realm Tree. Yeah, he could raise 17,000 troops. I can raise a little bit over 3,200, 3,300, 3,400, around there. So obviously I can't take that on. If I want to expand south, I can't use holy wars. It's too much of a risk. So I'm going to fabricate a claim on Kasog, so it'll make my borders a little bit more pretty. Fabricating claims does cost money, and it takes a random amount of time, but it's the most typical way people expand piecemeal, just to slowly inch your way forward with fabricated claims. I have never had any problems making friends. To get someone to like me, I can twist and turn the truth until it fits. It's a great skill, isn't it? What does he have to say? Telling lies just seems so wrong. I've gained the honest trait. My guardian, once again, making me a nice guy. That gives me -1 intrigue, but +1 diplomacy, +1 learning. Oh, my martial skill is not looking good for the future. David is 10 now. Have to see how he looks when he grows up at 16. And then I think I'll end the live stream in 6 years. 1027, 1028. Hey, that guy who came from Ethiopia has a pretty dang good intrigue score, and he thinks that he can be a better, yeah, he can. He's got a much better intrigue score than my current spy master, so let's bring him in. And let's get him to studying the technology of Constantinople. The Greeks know their stuff. Maybe I can bring some Greek fire home. Does leave me a little exposed here with my spy master away from my capital. He's not detecting plots, that kind of business. But I'm willing to take the risk. Ooh, it costs a lot of money and prestige to run a grand tournament. I'm nowhere near that yet. I would really like this small riding grounds. Well, actually, apparently I already have it. Cool. Free 25 gold. But I really love the horse archer bonuses for these steppe peoples. It's the best way to fight the Mongols is on their own terms. If you go out with an infantry heavy army against the Mongols, or, you know, the Timurids or the Seljuks or any nomadic horse archer type people, they will slaughter you. That dynasty is the Ramadan dynasty. Emir Ramadan the First of the Ramadan Emirate. Okay. That's good. We've knocked out the smuggler's ring that was in Guryev that I didn't know about, but, you know, what you gonna do, right? Religious situation in Spain. The Muslims hold half of Portugal, half of Spain, maybe even a majority of Spain now. And the Christians are starting to fracture. The Lollard heresy has appeared here in Santiago. Heresies are starting to pop up in all sorts of places. The Cathars in Poland. Somehow King Boleslaw still alive. I feel like he's been around forever, still with his ridiculous stats. His vassals all love him, of course, because of how amazing he is. Can you tell I'm jealous? Yeah, no surprise. My regent defeated my envious count. Looks like it was just a white piece, no problem. Hey, Kiev's rebellion is gone. Good for them. Bad for me because of how powerful they are, but good for them. They still don't hold Moscow, I don't think. Yeah, there's Moskva. Under the control of Ryazan right now. But they're definitely gaining in strength. This is a very fast-growing Kiev. A fast-growing Lithuania and Poland as well. Surprising. Speeding up the game a little bit. I got money coming in. What can I upgrade? Mustering grounds for light infantry and archers. Church town. Barracks. Let's upgrade that church town. More income, always good. I'm currently at 4.08 per month. Fluctuates a little bit. Oh boy, look at that. The Seljuks won their war with the Mutamids, like I thought they would. Now they extend from Iran all the way up to, I guess this is modern Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. I always get those two mixed up. It's only this tiny one province that is keeping me from having a border with this menace. That is a danger. Pomerania still somehow hanging on. They're the last Slavs in Germany proper. High Chief Lech the First. The Vens, which a lot of people don't know about, they're the Slavic peoples who worship the same pre-Christian gods that the Russians did, who happened to live in Eastern Germany before it was Christianized. You know, after the fall of the Roman Empire, they never really got over here into, you know, what is now Poland and, you know, Pomerania, that area. So you had places like the Czech Republic and Berlin area, Brandenburg, that kind of thing, Christianizing 1,000 years after some place like Italy, for instance. And it's still going on all the way up to, you know, the year 1000. But at this point, it's just this tiny enclave, and sooner or later, somebody's going to declare a holy war on behalf of the Holy Roman Emperor and just suck it right up and convert it. Kiev growing. They just take that province from, yeah, they just took that province from Smolensk, I believe. They are terrifying. Nothing more scary than a strong Russia. Byzantium, as you can see, has fallen into a civil war. Ah. Old Basil II died at age 64. Basilius the Lionheart died August 22nd of this year. It's now 19 October, and there is a huge war over who will succeed him. The heir, all he had was one daughter, who was only 9 years old. She's legitimate, born in the purple, brave. Born in the purple is just a Byzantine trait that gives them legitimacy for having been officially born into the dynasty in the purple chamber. But yeah, revolts tend to happen when you have, you know, feudal Dark Ages empires being ruled over by 9-year-old girls. So who knows what's going to happen. What I do know is that I hope it lasts a while, because if I ever am going to get that claim on Ksogs that I'm trying to fabricate, them being fractured will make me feel much more confident about declaring war on another Orthodox Christian nation like Georgia. Well, let's let it roll for a little while. Doing pretty good here, honestly. Surprisingly good. I expected to lose the war with the Titikids. I expected Kiev or Congress to come after me at some point, but for whatever reason, I'm doing pretty decent. The Muslim world right now is such a mess. Historically, I mean, they were doing pretty well. This was all unified, the Caliphate of Cordoba. The Fatimids held so much of this. But, yeah, it's all falling apart. Makes it ripe for a crusade, which probably they won't start calling the Crusades for another 50 or 60 years. This guy's interesting. He's a Greek, but he's a Shia Muslim. The religious situation right now, yeah, all the area that would become Israel in the modern day is still Sunni or Shia or what have you. Although there are some Orthodox and Monothelite, which is a Orthodox heresy. There are these Christian enclaves along the coast, as there were in history. My spy master, who I sent to Constantinople, there he is, looking appropriately evil, has managed to study their advancements, and the documents enclosed here should help us reach their level. The improved keeps progress in Itil increases by 1. Excellent. Alright, I got my benefit. I'm gonna bring him home. Back to Itil to uncover plots, protect me from schemers. I'm gonna have... he's still researching. My Marshal is still researching. My Chancellor is still fabricating claims. Uncover plots, collecting taxes. Looks pretty good, honestly. My Guardian denounced me harshly at the faction meeting in Saray, and the whole faction is slightly more rebellious. Ah, that is the Republican faction, which looks after the interests of the cities, the mayors, that sort of thing. Obviously, my Khanate is not going to turn into a republic anytime soon, but they do represent the more cosmopolitan group. This whole faction system, by the way, was implemented by Wiz, who has since been hired by Paradox, and it's great. It's a shame that you can only see it from my perspective here, because as a faction member or a faction leader, there's so much more going on than in the vanilla, unmodded game. Trying to convert a province is pretty much a numbers game. You can influence it by having a higher, things, but really it comes down to just plopping your guy down and hoping that the 10% chance per month happens to strike, or 5% or 2%. In this case, it's, county religion converted 2% yearly. That's pretty dang low, but I can be hopeful. I got lucky with Saray and Itil. Maybe I'll get lucky with Kuma too. Our boy's 14, only a couple years before David can officially take the throne. Hopefully I can fabricate a claim in time to have one last war here over Kasogs. See how many troops they can raise. I like that crown. Let's see here. 6,200. 6,000. That's bad news. Yeah, I can't match that. Definitely not in my current situation. Maybe I'll do what Skyblazer suggested and hold up in Itil or one of these towns along the Volga and hope that they attack me over the river. But even then, 3 to 2 numbers advantage, it's hard to beat. My regent, my uncle, has died. A new regent will be appointed. My spy master, that Ethiopian guy who just wandered over like 5 years ago, appointed as my regent. It's a pretty good choice. High diplomacy, high martial, high intrigue. Will give me the elusive shadow educational trait, I think. That means I need to replace my marshal because my regent was also serving as marshal. An Ashkenazi Jew, brilliant strategist, trickster, seems like the obvious choice. And I'll have him research military tech. Hang on a second. Ah, I have a cousin. Since I don't have any children, my cousin is now my heir. So let's arrange a marriage for her. Has to be matrilineal, and I think it'd be nice to make it someone a little bit younger. This guy will do. Yeah, this'll work. Just in case, you know, she should pop out a kid so I have someone to play if I die before I have a kid myself and she dies. Always look to the succession. You're doing pretty good. Bad news. Efforts to squeeze some extra taxes met with resistance. I fear we might have a revolt on our hands here soon. Damn peasants. Let's switch you over to research. Hard to screw up research, right? You'd think that until peasants drop something on your foot. It's interesting. Oh wow. The Seljuks launched another war against the Tudikids, and now they control all of this, including this entire border with me. I was worried about having a border with the Seljuks, and now I have it. The Tudikids themselves have fractured into this Khan of the Volga, and they only have just these few big provinces here. I think the Tudikids are not long for this world. And I might not be long for this world if the Seljuks decide to hit me next. I really hope they turn around and go back to focusing on Iraq. I think I'm about to turn 16 and hit my majority, and I'll end this stream. Let's see here, when's my birthday? 2nd of April. It's February now. See how I turn out. What does my guardian think about this hedonistic statement? No. He says go nuts. Bang whoever you want. I've gained the lustful trait. Well, at least that'll help me produce an heir. Lustful, honest, humble, craven, cynical. Up. There we go. I'm a grown-up. I'm a Grey Eminence, because I have an excellent diplomacy score. And really a fantastic mustache. That is truly fetching. I'm still young, which gives me a bunch of penalties and a couple of bonuses. But not bad. The only glaring weaknesses here are the fact that I am the worst soldier in history. and a pretty terrible accountant. My stewardship, which manages economics, means that my balance is going to be hit. I'm already down to plus 3.63 when I recall being at 4 or higher at one point. But, yeah. I've got a new Khan. He's grown up. I have new threats to the east from the great Seljuk Turk. And I have new opportunities to the south. Byzantium has ended its civil war, but there are still opportunities for expansion against the Orthodox and against the Russians here. The world is looking interesting. But with that, I will end this stream of Crusader Kings 2 with the CK2 Plus Kitchen Sink mod, which you can find under the Better Armies thread in the CK2 mod forum, including, most importantly, the Millennium mod scenario, which I have been playing, start in the year 1000 AD, with a totally different world and history. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks a bunch.